Have you ever wanted your own podcast? Well, now you can. With Anchor, you can make your podcast dreams come true. It's free and easy to use. Anchor will allow you to edit your podcast however you like. It will also distribute your podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money with no minimum listenership. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm to get started. Or download the free Anchor app. Good afternoon, Hatters. This is Irish Mad Hatter with a breaking news for this week's episode. So it looks like Orange County Task Force has released the initial guidelines for reopening of the Walt Disney World and other parks. So let's get into that right now. Our stay-at-home order is done on April 30th. That is this Thursday, and you will get this episode on Saturday, so it's actually the past Thursday. I do apologize. I had to make this early because it just came out just now, and I didn't want to forget it. So the task force had a meeting regarding reopening, and a number of initial guidelines for reopening theme parks such as Walt Disney were revealed. The Mayor Demmings did say that he believes a reopening in June is very realistic now, and that May is likely going to be used to supply chain issues, meaning they're going for the whole month of May, they're going to put all these guidelines in the park so that they take a whole month to basically get the whole park set up so that we can reopen in June, either in the beginning of it or middle of it. They haven't actually set a time, but they did say that we will be reopening in June. So it is very realistically, and here is what they said. For large theme parks such as Walt Disney World and Universal and SeaWorld, because it says etc., but I'm assuming SeaWorld will be considered that. Guidelines. Cast and team members will randomly and regularly wipe down all surfaces. Ride and attraction queues will have tape markings to keep guests 6 feet apart. And seniors who are 65 and older are encouraged to stay home during Phase 1 and 2. What is required for these parks to reopen? And here is the guidelines that I think are going to work. And let me just say, I'm going to repeat myself, but this is when we are going to be at 50% capacity. We are only allowing Florida residents only until Phase 3. Until Phase 3, we are not allowing anybody to come in to Disney unless you are a Florida resident. So if you have anything planned, I would look and see when Phase 3 comes to Florida. See, this is good for me because then I can go back to work, and a bunch of other cast members will go back to work, which means they won't be furloughed for that long, which is great. Now, there will be some people who are furloughed still because they're only going to be working at 50% capacity, which means we won't need as many staff members, cast members, and same thing with Universal. We will not need all those people. So until probably Phase 3, which they are projecting Phase 3 hopefully by September, which would be great. because if Disneyland can get to phase 3 by September, then me and my wife can go to Disneyland in October. That's why I'm going to be monitoring it, because I want to make sure that we can still go. If not, we are going to be moving our trip to January. I know we want, as I said, I know we wanted to go for Halloween, and they have a better Halloween party. But we are willing to push our trip to January, because it would convenience us, because then, as I said, my wife would have vacation time and then I would have vacation time. So there is that. But here is the requirements for Disney World to reopen. Listen very carefully, because these are probably going to stay in effect probably for life, to be honest with you. I don't see, if they're going to install this stuff into the park and all the way through May, in all 4 parks, which they're going to, that's why it's going to take a long time to do this, then I would say, to listen to this carefully, because this is going to probably be an everyday lifestyle now for Disney, because they don't want this ever happening again. And it could happen again. I'm not saying that we're set up for pandemics all the time, but we're not. But here's the requirements. Listen very carefully. Number 1, touchless hand sanitizer device at every ride and attraction, entry and exit. Meaning, before you get on a ride, you have to hand sanitize yourself. And try not to touch any of the railings or anything like that. Me, unfortunately, I tend to sit on the railings, or lean on it just so that I can, don't have to sit on the dirty floor sometimes. So I'm going to have to try very hard not to do my regular habits. So before you get on a ride, you have to hand sanitize. As soon as you get off a ride, you need to hand sanitize immediately. That's why they're going to be there at the entries and the exit ways. Requirement 2, touchless hand sanitizer devices at every ticket, entry, and turnstile. Meaning, before you come into the park and scan your Magic Band, you are going to have to get hand sanitizer from the machine. And once you scan it, you're going to have to hand sanitize again. That is 2 of the major ones that they're doing. Requirement number 3. All surface and railings are to be wiped down and cleaned regularly. Meaning, maybe every hour on the hour, the janitors or the people who are required to clean, every hour on the hour or every 30 minutes. I don't know how they're going to do it. It might be every 30, because people touch everything within that time period. So 30 minutes, probably maybe. An hour is probably the longest they'll wait. That they're going to wipe down every single thing. Rule number 4. And this is for cast members. This is not for guests. Guests are not required. But all employees are required to wear a face mask. Meaning, cast members can wear a face mask. Guests are not required yet. Disney has not required you to wear one. Obviously, they understand that they probably won't, because we live in Florida and we deal with a lot of... Because let's see, if they open up in June, we're going to be in the close to 100-degree weather. Right now, we are heading into May, and today it is 92. It is 92 degrees today. Yes, my Echo told me it is. Oh, she's gonna go off. No, I guess she didn't want to go off. All right. So they understand that it's going to be very hot, and it is very hard to breathe in these masks. And the other thing is, the mask they'll probably require every cast member to use is the don't yell at me for this. I think it's N67 or N64. I forgot what it's called, but those are the good masks. Now, they are pretty expensive. I looked, they're like $15. That's a little pricey. So I can understand that they won't ask all guests to do that. Requirement number 5. All employees will have temperature checks prior to start of shift. Temperatures of 100.4 or greater will not be allowed entry into the park or, now it says employees. Now they are talking about doing that for the guests as well. Which makes sense. It's a quick boom scan. It's better than what they were planning on doing, which was doing the blood COVID-19 tests where they prick your finger and then they'll see if you have it before letting you in. I think that is just stupid because, again, it's pricking your finger and needles and blood. Yeah. I'm not even going to get into that because you obviously know where that leads to. Other problems. Now, as I said, 100.4 temperature. I don't know how it's going to work because, as I said, we do live in Florida. It gets super hot down here, and our bodies go up. Now, I'm not sure how much our bodies temperature raises through the heat here in Florida. I'm not a scientist. These people who made these rules are scientists and people who are working night and day to figure out how to get these parks open for everyone. Requirement number 6. Phase 1. Park will reopen at 50% capacity, which is going to be Florida residents. It makes sense to do that because if they reopen Florida, some, not all jobs, but some jobs will be going back to work, which means it allows less people into the park even more, which is what Disney needs. They're probably going to have, through all 4 parks that they reopen, I'm going to say probably the max a day is probably be like 2,000 people. In all 4 parks. 2,000 in Magic, 2,000 in Hollywood, 2,000 in Animal Kingdom, and then 2,000 in Epcot. Epcot, no offense, is a little bit harder because everything is boarded up and there's not a lot of space. And that's my predicament would be, should we even reopen Epcot? Should we just keep that closed so that they can start rebuilding? And that's the other thing that Disney is reason why they need to reopen, which I will discuss after the commercial. But let's do the last requirement. The last requirement is in phase 2. The parks will be allowed to reopen at 75%, which means they're probably going to let in, we'll go with the rough number, 10,000 each park. You're allowed more than that, but let's just go 10,000. They didn't put phase 3 in here because they have to wait till phase 2 is fully complete to get to phase 3. But during this time, they do ask that anyone who is 65 and older, please stay home. Because they're not going to make you sign a waiver, but if you get sick and you blame Disney, that's your fault. It's not on Disney. So please, just follow what I said and listen to it. I will repeat it. If you are 65 or older, please stay home. Those are the guidelines as of right now. They have a whole list for the other small theme parks here and the hotels and restaurants, but all we needed really is the theme parks. It doesn't seem like they're going to open up any of the restaurants in the theme park. It looks like it's just going to be rides only. We haven't heard anything from Disney's Shanghai yet about how that experiment went with the fireworks shows and the parades with the social distancing. We don't have any information on that yet, but we probably will soon. But like I said, we'll find out in a couple, probably in a couple more weeks when it gets closer. Supposedly they're going to be opening up next month. End of next month, which is great because if they can get open, they can do what they said they did with with the experiments of the fireworks with people in large crowds and stuff. If they can work it, then fine. Or how they found a way to social distance people, but also still with the fireworks. If they could do it, then we can make it here. But the thing about this is, and this is what a lot of people here in Florida all have agreed. When we put rules out, no one follows them. And if you want Disney open and you want it to work and be efficient, then please follow the rules. I'm sorry, but I think they should also have the security guards. If anyone's breaking the rules, you get one warning. And it will be in the system. Like, you take their information and that's in the system now. If they do it again, their name is in the system that said they got one warning, and after that one warning, you're gone. Because honestly, if you're not willing to help others and keep this park running, then you don't belong here. I'm sorry to be so harsh about it, but it is very, very true. I'm going to take a break because I am going to... we are going to get into another subject, which is, wow, I just lost my train of thought. Let me just take a break so I can get my train of thought, and I'll be back.
Think of the happiest things. It's the same as having wings. To the stars beyond the blue, there's a Neverland waiting for you. When you leave the world behind, you can fly. You can fly. You can fly.
Hey, welcome back. Okay, so I remembered that thought that I forgot, which is Disney's Lake Buena Vista construction has laid off construction workers. They are being furloughed as well. That means that some of the projects that Disney has been working on are going to be, I think they're going to be a little bit delayed, but Disney has said that it's not going to stop the opening date for the rides. My fear is it's going to really they're going to open up the rides, because I think the ride itself is done for certain rides. It's just that the queues take forever to build because of all the advancements and interaction that they want now in the queues to keep everyone preoccupied. So you might have a queue that's not open. I don't know how far they've gotten with a lot of these projects they're doing. I know the Play Pavilion just filed for more work, meaning more seating and everything. So that means that they are still working on it, but I don't know if they'll get it done by the date that they said. Just like they said that the Moana Trail is still going to open up in 2021 as planned. So yeah, they furloughed a lot of the construction workers. I don't know if there are still people there working because unfortunately we can't go on the property at this moment. So I can't see if anyone is working or not. I mean, we've seen a couple of helicopters fly over Disney, purposely just to give us a look of what it looks like empty. Thank you to the news crew on that one. But, let's get into this, announcement that Disney has, not Disney, Florida has announced that we are going to phase 1 starting this Monday, the 4th. May the 4th be with you, everyone. If you don't know, there will be a marathon, I believe, on TBS, on Sunday at 5:30. I don't know if they said, because they didn't be specific about it, but it's a Star Wars marathon at 5:30. I don't know if it's 5:30 a.m. or if it's 5:30 p.m. I don't know how they're working it out. But it is a marathon starting Sunday and it will end on Monday night. For May the 4th be with you. So, we are going to phase 1 here in Florida, which is a 25% capacity. We are allowing restaurants to open up inside for 25% and outside 25%. So once you have the 25% inside, you can now you have to fill out 25% capacity outside, if your restaurant has outside, seating. Like the Applebee's over by our house. They do have indoor and outdoor, so it works out. A lot of Florida restaurants out here have a lot of outdoor seating. So that works out to our favor. Also, we can, nail salons, no, we're not opening up. Sorry. Hair salons, no, they're not opening up. Sorry. Gyms still closed. But right now it's basically restaurants and hold on. I want to get this 100% right for everyone because everyone's been wondering what that entails. Because of, people are like, oh, that means I can open up my shop. No, that doesn't mean that's true, but let me get you exactly 100%. Here we go. Here are my notes on phase 1. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Restaurants, outdoor seating 6 feet away, indoor 25% capacity, and churches. No movie theaters yet. Retail is 25% indoor with social distancing. No bars are open. No gyms are open. No hair or nail salons are open. So basically just retail and restaurants at 25%. Now they told Disney they can open up at their own discretion. Meaning they can open up right now if they wanted to, but they would have to open up to just Florida residents at 25% capacity. Which I don't see them doing since Disney just canceled all of till May 23rd's hours. So there are no hours of Disney through May 23rd. Now, after May 23rd, there are still hours. Now, could they reopen at the end of May? Sure, they could reopen. Do I think they're going to? No, because they're going to have to bring in all these people. So they'll have to bring some people back. Now, what I think that Disney will probably make the announcement of, and this is where I think where we're going to head towards for a reopen for Disney is, because retail and restaurants are allowed open at 25% capacity indoor and 6 feet outdoor, Disney Springs, or as many to you is Downtown Disney. I understand there are some people who fight over the name, but you know what? If it's whatever you want to call it, just call it that. Anywho, Disney Springs is retail and restaurants. I can see Disney opening up Disney Springs for people to walk. Because it is big, it's huge, so you can get a good exercise. I could see them opening up some stores, not all of them, but I could see them opening up some stores and some restaurants. And it would make sense to do that because those are third-party Disney workers. So they don't actually work for the actual Disney company themselves. They were furloughed. Well, they weren't furloughed. They were actually, when Disney Springs announced that they were closing, because they're third party, don't quote me on this, but because they're third party, they actually would have been unemployed before the unemployed cast members who were furloughed a couple of weeks ago. So they've been out longer. So that is where I think that they would start, is because they can get those guys back in quicker. So I would say Disney Springs would be the best bet to open up first. If we could get to phase 2 by the end, well, it's not going to be the end of this month, but if we could get to phase 2 by middle of June, and I'm hoping we do get to phase 2 by the middle of June, Disney probably won't reopen, because now it's looking at end of June, beginning of July. We're looking at opening up Disney. As I said, Disney has not made an announcement yet. This is speculation. Don't quote me on it. So this is my speculation on how I think it should go. But we all know Disney is a huge corporation and they do things by their way. So, if we could get to phase 2 by mid-June, and the rumor is they're saying that phase 3 is when Disney could really open up again, and we can get to phase 3 by mid-July, end of July, and reopen 100% in August. And as I said, this might not happen because everyone's complaining about a second wave. The way things are going, we're still in the first wave. So I don't see how we're going to get a second wave, especially when China is already looking at reopening already, since Hong Kong Disneyland has just resumed this week that they're doing the character meet and greet dining. So they just started doing the dining meet and greets. Now, the parks are not open, but the restaurants and the hotels are open. So they kept those open. So I don't know if Disney World will go that route because, as I said, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Tokyo are all owned by their country. Paris, I believe, hasn't started anything because that is actually owned by Disney. We bought, well, not me, but Disney bought the shares to take full control of Disneyland Paris. So they own it. The country does not. So they are now doing meet and greets. Shanghai is doing fireworks and parades. They're testing it out. So they're trying hard to see if they can keep the magic alive for their people. And I get it. Do you really want to spend thousands of dollars because Disney will not be lowering their prices? Do you really want to spend thousands of dollars to go to Disney and just rides only? And no fireworks, no meet and greets, no parades, no nothing? I think it would be a big disappointment for those who are going there for your first ever time. But for someone like me who's been there 1,000 times, I usually go to the parades or fireworks very rarely anymore. Only because I've seen it 1,000 times. So that's my time to go on rides and stuff. So it won't bother me, but for someone who's spending thousands of dollars with a family to come here and everything is taken out, it doesn't make any sense. So right now, as I said, we're in phase 1. Disney is projected phase 3. That's what they said, but they're still giving Disney any control they want. Disney can open up whenever they feel like it. But the rumor projected is phase 3. And if phase 3 can come in by the end of July, then we can have 100% of people going back to normal to Disney in August. Or probably mid-August, because they're going to have to take a while to sanitize, and they're going to put in all those new things that I said earlier about the hand sanitizers and everything. I'm going to take another break from my sponsors. Yes, I have you. If you heard my other shows, I have sponsors now. It's cool. I love it. So when we come back, I'll discuss another topic that Disney's going through right now, especially with Friday that just passed yesterday, because today's Saturday now. Yesterday was the 31st birthday of Hollywood Studios, so we'll get into that. All right? We'll see you back after this break. So, Friday marked the 31st birthday or anniversary of Hollywood Studios. I am going to let Josh D'Amaro, the president of Walt Disney World, just give you a little talk. Josh, take it away.
Hey everyone, we are here at the beautiful Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's a gorgeous day out here. I gotta say, I really miss you all. I hope everybody's staying safe. You know, I've been getting a lot of questions lately on what it sounds like in the parks, and specifically, is the music on? Well, the answers, as you can hear, no, the music is not on. It sounds beautiful in here. You hear birds chirping, and you can hear a cast member talking every once in a while. But it does feel very different in here. So today, though, is a very special day. It's Disney's Hollywood Studios' birthday. And so we figured maybe just for a short moment, we could turn the music on and then turn it right back off, just so that you could hear what it sounds like to have that old music back on. Now, to do that, I've got a special guest with me here, right here on my phone. It's David from Engineering Services. David, maybe you could say hello.
Hey, everybody.
So David has graciously agreed to flip on the music, so again, you can hear what that feels like on Disney's Hollywood Studios' birthday. So David, you about ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
There you go. Music's on. You guys enjoy that for a few minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to the time that I can enjoy this music with all of you. Until then, please stay safe, miss you all, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Josh. That's great. I thought that was really cool of him to basically give us all a little bit of hope and to hear that wonderful Hollywood studio music that we all know and love. And like I said, we're eventually going to go back. They're not going to stay closed forever. They can't. So all I can say is thank you, Josh. Thank you for everything you've done. You're the perfect man for the job when it comes to running Disney World. So again, thank you. Couple of final things before we go. I just want to say that Disney is in talks with the NBA to finish up the NBA season here at the ESPN Worldwide of Sports. They are still in talks to finish that, so there's that to look forward to. Also this week they also announced that Disney will be doing a live-action film of Hercules, the Disney version. I know that there are 1,000 other versions of Hercules out there, but this one is going to be based off the Disney movie. They don't have a cast yet, but I am actually really excited to see this because one of my favorite villains is Hades. So I would like to see how this works out. I think, to be honest with you, I would love to see either Cumberpatch or even have James Woods reprise his voice, depending upon how they work the Hades. I don't know if they're going to make him very graphic. I don't know how they plan on doing it, but if it's a voice character, I would say bring James Wood in because obviously he's the voice of Hades and probably the best person to choose for the job. Also, if you like that family sing-along that was on ABC a couple of 2 weeks ago, Disney has announced they're doing the Family Disney Sing-Along 2, and that will be out on May 10th, Mother's Day, 7 p.m. on ABC. Performers have not been announced yet, but I would suspect that maybe Ariana Grande returns, and a couple, maybe two more people will return from the first spectacular event. So we'll have to see in the next couple of days, probably next week. Actually, let's see, it would probably have to be the end of this next coming week up. We would have to find out because I said that it's on May 10th, and that's Mother's Day. And don't forget to thank your mothers because Mother's Day is a special day, and it's their day. So thank your mother and tell her how much you love her. Now, here's my final thought. Disneyland California has announced they have no plan of reopening Disney anytime soon, that they are months away from opening up. So it looks like Disney World might be the one that's going to open up first. Even though they said that Disneyland is probably the easier one to do because it's smaller and because Disneyland is basically Californians. The destination Disney is always Florida. No one really ever goes say, hey, we're going to Disneyland. It's usually just Californians. So they said they are months away from opening up, that they probably are thinking about phase 4 in their state for reopening. But as I said, Disney gets to make the decision. So that's my final thought for this episode. I would like to thank everyone. Also, as I said, my merchandise is out. My Irish Mad Hatter hat is out for sale. I can give you the link so you can buy it. And I also have the t-shirt out. I can also edit it for you if you don't want on the back, if you don't want, the podcast link and all that stuff. If you don't want that on the back, you could let me know and I will edit it for any of you. Then I'll give you the link to buy it on your own and send it to you. But, I like to thank everyone for listening, and I love you 3000. Have a good day. Stay magical.
I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like you. You say it's true. And it's like me. And like you.
Just what I love. More baklava.